Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to the daily update my 1000 days challenge. This is day 510, so let's get things started. Alright, so in terms of balance wise, a little bit of improvement here, but let's face some experimental trades that what I mentioned. I don't really, I do have a short trade for main trading setup. I do see as a potential loss, so very much likely will be dropping back to 6,006 again region itself. Yeah, but that's based on Link itself, but that's based on if on the condition that Link actually do breaks towards the upside, along with the greater crypto market in general, I would say. So yeah, let's see how things goes. Otherwise, in terms of experimental trade setup, yeah, things is what it is. I'm still so-called scalping and trying a little few different strategies in terms of forward testing itself. So that's something to bear in mind, take note of. And overall, in terms of market structure wise, the US market definitely still looks to remain strong and bullish in the sense. So yeah, just changing the computer. But yeah, so it remains bullish, especially for S&P fund. We can see that we are nearing towards the all-time high region, consolidating over here, with, especially with a very nice base, will form a very much stronger kind of support when we go towards higher high. And even if we do have strong retracement in the future, it may change. Yeah. So technically, everything still looks to remain good in that sense for the US market, and even for Nasdaq itself, things looks to be bullish with very nice support off the bounce, and the market structure remains intact and bullish in that sense. But bearing in mind that, of course, with that said, my consolidation can look into both sides. One could see there is a consolidation and pushing towards higher high. On the flip side, it could be a sign of a distribution itself before we trend down towards lower low as well. So it's very important that we have a very nice consolidation phase or even a chaotic consolidation phase, but overextended would give rise to a very much stronger move in either direction thereafter. There's a tendency behind it. All right, and for China market itself, things still looks to be a little bit shaky. For AHSI, it seems to be retracing, but maintaining, even though it's below the 200-day simple and exponential moving average itself, it maintains, doesn't seem to be dropping much further, which goes to show there's a lack of selling pressure and stuff like that. For KWEB itself, similarly, so even though that generally is a lot more bearish, we've been broken all clear monthly supports on quite a number of levels, and we've also retraced very significantly from the all-time high itself. And yeah, so now we're definitely at the near the lows itself, and if we do break above the $44 mark, there could be a shift of momentum back towards the upside. But until that takes place itself, I still lean towards further bearish momentum for KWEB. It could be an area of so-called for you to so-called consolidate a dollar cost average in if you're looking in terms of say 3 to 5 years down the road. But bearing in mind that it could be very different and there could be more delisting coming the way, so that's something to bear in mind. And finally, for Bitcoin itself, so yeah, just to sum it up, so for KWEB itself, if you do look for 3 to 5 years down the road, China market itself would still definitely be there and definitely to be doing a lot stronger than what it is today. But the point of the fact is that whether or not the price be factored in terms of the capital of the stock price itself, there's something to be yet to be seen because of how the capital market works in China and how they view the capital market is vastly different from what you see in the US market, which is predominantly capital market focused kind of a country in that sense. Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's good or bad. Both have a different perspective and both have the different pros and cons. And finally, for Bitcoin itself, I don't see any new trading set on the forward chart. It still looks very choppy to me. So there's something to bear in mind that when Bitcoin goes choppy itself, it is actually preferable that you actually look into various other tokens if you're trading it for a living. But for me, on this setup that I do update you guys on a daily basis, I just keep it very plain, very simple. The idea and the concept is just to show through the thought process of a particular token and not just market screening the whole thing as well. So yeah, that's more or less about it. And if there's actually a shift and break above 50.5K region on the daily chart itself and the close above it, that could mark a potential shift in terms of market structure, and I could potentially look for further long side trade. But until that take place itself, I will lean towards the neutral market structure and not be trading anything off the 4-hour chart for both long and short side. So yeah, with that said, I've come to the end of today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.